In today's matchday vlog, Walsall take on Tamworth, which turned out to be a game full of action. This got heated very early and ended up in a 79-point game. There were lots of tries, big hits, and it wasn't one to be missed. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more content like this, and let's get into the video. Yo, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got another matchday vlog. Now, last week we had a free week, so we just didn't have a game, and then this week we are playing away against Tamworth. Now, earlier on in the season we played Tamworth at home, and I think they did just about get the win, so it's going to be a tough game away from home. And I know Tamworth are normally better playing at home, so it is going to be a very interesting game today. It feels weird that we didn't play last week. It feels like I haven't played for ages or done a matchday vlog, but we're back. Also, I've got some very exciting news. So last week I went to the Stoop, Twickenham Stoop at Harlequins Ground, and we were discussing meetings. We had loads of things about the charity game that is going to be coming up this year. So I did speak about it in my previous video, and if you follow me on Instagram, TikTok or whatever, you will know that I am organising a creator charity match for rugby, and it's looking like it's going to be at the Stoop, which I am absolutely buzzing about. Like, imagine a huge charity game at a massive stadium, loads of creators, loads of like influencers, whatever you want to call them, people that you know playing in a charity match. I think it's going to be absolutely sick. So last week I went to the Stoop, they showed us around, went in the change rooms, looked at the ground, kind of had a look at the logistics of how it's actually going to work, you know, how many of the stands are going to open, things like that. And it just got me like even more excited and more motivated to try and make this the biggest event possible, and that is only going to happen as well from you guys. So with your guys' support, you know, keep liking these videos, keep commenting, keep sharing them with your friends, and then also when the tickets do come out, you know, get one and come in with your friends. It's going to be a sick day out. We're going to have loads of things planned, like pre-game, kind of mid-game stuff, and it's just going to be a sick day. So guys, it's going to come from your support as well, which I definitely need. So as well, if you are new to this channel or you've watched a few times and you're not subscribed, go down, click the subscribe button. I cannot thank you guys enough. Oh my god. Sorry. Wow, look at them boots. Today's game is on grass. Normally we play in the 4G, but I haven't used these or cleaned them since the last game. Not ideal. I think I need some new boots. In today's squad lineup, we've got a very strong team with a few people returning. He definitely didn't tell me to say this, but the Hitman Holden is back. And also a special mention to Kyle Reid, who is making his first team debut. So in the forwards today, in the front row, we've got Ben Cooper, Rich Wilson and Simon Weaver. In the second row, we've got Isaac Marlowe and Lucas Cottrell. And then the back row, we've got Neil Holden, James Tamilio and George Perkins at 8. And then in the backs today, we've got Mitch Carlos at 9, Ben Pitt at 10, Adam Nunney and Rob Angel in the centres, me and Dan Carpenter on the wings, and Hansen Christopherson at fullback. Right, so kicking off into the first half, a good take there from George, just taking that in, and then an exit here from Ben just to put us in safety, but it does only go as far as the winger, who does just fumble that a little bit, picks it back up, puts another kick through, which goes into Hansen. Hansen in the backfield then, trying to open it up a little and takes that into contact. Now, this game, straight from the off, we knew it was going to be very intense. Both teams were really up for it. Here, Ben, just with a little switch into Nunney. Nunney crashing that in, taking a few players with him. Then we're going wide. Ben spreads that out to Dan, but unfortunately, handling just a little bit of an error there, which then Tamworth do regain possession. Comes out into their 6, who then takes that in. Tamworth now going on the blind side, but the centre does drop the ball, and Walsall back regaining possession. So both teams making a few handling errors already, and Neil just taking that in. Then Ben looking to spread this a little bit wider with a kick over the top, which their 15 gets that, then puts another chip over. Ben catches it, another chip over the top, and that is regathered by their 9. Then pops that up into their 10, and Ben does make that tackle, so we are in their 22. Then the 10 goes to exit, and he kicks that straight down my channel, which then I catch from the bounce, give that out to Hansen. Hansen then looking to open it up, spreads that nice and wide, bit of a bounce pass into Dan. Dan then stepping inside, trying to find the gaps, takes it through, gets a bit of an offload into me, and then I just take that in. Then it comes on that blind side to George. George crashing it up, And then coming back on the other side, Ben now spreading that into Hansen. Hansen gets on the outside, takes out 2 of their players, bounces the fullback, but then just get caught 5 metres out. Neil manages to gather the ball, and we're literally a couple of metres out now, but the ref calls it back for a penalty. So Walsall with the line out, great take there from Lucas, gets that into Mitch. Mitch then spreading that into Ben. Ben spreads it nice and wide into Nunny, but Rob unfortunately does lose that ball there, and there was a high tackle. So Tamworth with the line out now. The 9 then spreads that, bit of a loose ball, and the 13 does drop that, so it's going back for a scrum. Walsall scrum now, and Mitch goes one way, gives it back into Ben. Ben then looking to spread that wide into Rob. Rob just taking that in. Mitch then spreading that into Nunny. Nunny's in the midfield, and he takes that in. Great pump in his legs there. Takes about 4 players. Now Ben with the ball, dummies, takes that himself, looking for the offload, but he just about gets it to Mitch. Mitch then gives it to Lucas. Lucas into George. Some offloads going there from the boys. Then it comes a little bit wide. Ben passes it, a bounce pass into Hansen. Hansen draws the man into me, and I finish that in the corner. So first try of the game goes to Walsall, and I was happy to get that one down. Mitchie with the conversion, which he just about misses that one. Now Tamworth with the line out, just into our 22. They go for the driving maul, but they do break off and take that in. Then some more phases and some great tackles there from the boys. They look to then spread it a little bit wider. Another big shot there from Lucas. Then they are literally about 5 metres out now, but a great defensive effort from Walsall. Looking now to spread it a little bit wider, but Walsall still managing to defend our line. And Tamworth just keep applying the pressure. But then after a few more phases and a really good defence from Walsall, Tamworth do throw it wide, and there is a knock on. So the ref calls it back for a penalty, which they take the 3 points, and they do get that. So now Walsall kicking off, and Lucas with a bit of a tackle there took him in the air. So they go back for a penalty, and it's a line out. Now going into their 10. 10 gives that into the 13. Big shot there from Nunny. And then they do look to spread it wide a little bit more. But some good tackles from the boys, and we do turn it over, and then it comes out into Cooper. Cooper then gets on the outside, takes that in. Then Walsall with some quick balls, spreading it wide into Nunny. Nunny gets that into Dan. Dan with a dummy, he's down the line, he steps inside then to keep in the pitch. And then Mitch on the blind side, puts a little kick through, and it does go out. But some very good metres game for Walsall. Now Walsall with the scrum, comes out into Ben. Ben with a switch into Nunny. Nunny just takes that in. Then he comes out to Ben. Ben tries for a little chip over the top, but the bounce does go into their winger. The winger then tries to get on the outside. Some great defence there from Hansen. The ball's a little bit sloppy all over the floor, and then Tamworth do manage to get that ball again. 9 then goes for a box, and it goes straight out. Walsall line out now, and it is overthrown, so Tamworth do get that. They offload into their 10, into their 5, then comes into their 13. Rob with a big shot there, and yeah, I don't think they were too happy about that, so there was a bit of afters, but nothing too mad. Everyone was just pushing around. So now Tamworth after the penalty with the line out, comes out into their 10. 10 then spreads that into the winger. Another great shot from Nunny in the midfield. Then some more big shots, Isaac and George. Then the 10 puts a kick over the top. For some reason no one was in the backfield there. Me and Hansen were both in the line, but Lucas does get back and manages to regain possession. Then the ball comes out to Ben. Ben puts a kick over the top, nice and high, which he is chasing himself. The 9 picks it, passes it, and Ben with a bit of a late shot there, which again they were not happy about, and they do get a penalty for that. So now Tamworth with the line out, and they do offload it off the top into their 9, spreads that into their centre again, who takes that in. Then they look to play a little bit wider, and it looks like the gaps are opening up, but Walsall just trying to defend again. Does go wide, a great tackle there from Dan. Then they come back and build in more and more phases, and there was a penalty there, so then they do go for a quick tap and go. Big shot there from the boys. Then they look to spread it wider again. Big shot from Rob. Tamworth just applying the pressure, and Walsall defending for their life on this line. They try to go wide again then, but another big tackle from Ben. Then the ball comes out into their 2, who then tries to crash over, and he does get down for a try. And they go for the conversion, but he does hit the post. So a couple of minutes later now, scrum for Tamworth comes out to their 10, into their 13. Rob and Nunny both bite on him, but both miss the tackle. Then he comes on the outside, sends one I go to dive tackle, he gets around me. Ben luckily makes back and gets the tackle, gets the offload into the winger, but Hansen gets back to get that tackle. Then I do go in for the turnover here, which I think should have been a turnover, but I don't know what the ref's decision was here, but he calls a scrum. So now it's a scrum for Tamworth, 5 metres out, and they spread it into their 10 at the back. He steps back inside, tries to take that in himself. Bash with a big tackle there. Then with some good hands, they do manage to get the offloads, and the 6 goes under the post for a try, and they do get the conversion nice and easy. So it seemed Walsall defence had literally just switched off for this like 15-minute period of the game. You know, there were gaps opening up, missed tackles, and as you can see here, the 8 just getting through, gets the offload into the centre. Just seems that we weren't connected as much and gaps were just opening up. Not sure if it was tiredness or I don't know what it was, but here the 2 breaks through, missed a tackle from one of our players, and he gets over for another try, which they do then go for the conversion and get that. Another reset, and Tamworth again applying the pressure, and here with the line out, spreading that into 10, into 13, gives it back to the 10. Big wide pass there. Me and Hansen there have got the defence, we've got the numbers. And then the ball comes inside, another missed tackle, and their 7 gets through. He then steps inside, gets the offload, and they're through for another try. It's literally like reset, try, reset, try. I have no idea what was going on with our defence at all. So now, not long after another restart, the 10 puts a kick over the top. Dan there is chasing it back. There's no one in the backfield. The bounce does land into their winger's hands, and he's gone through again for another try, which they also then do get the conversion. And that was the first half done. So how many tries in literally the first half? I think like the first 20 minutes of the game, it was quite even. I mean, even the first 10 minutes of the game, we were dominating possession. But then there was literally like a 20-minute period at the end of that first half that it just seemed our defence had just completely switched off. There was gaps opening up, people weren't connecting well, there was missed tackles, and yeah, Tamworth, you know, they capitalised on that and scored a fair amount of tries in a short amount of time, so we needed to really step things up. So now kicking off, going into the second half, Mitch with a lovely kick, which George and Lucas were chasing, and then Tamworth on the attack, and we really need to step things up here with a scrum. Nunny takes that in, skips through a few defenders, gets that in. Then the ball comes out to Dan Farr. Dan just coming off on the bench, taking that in. Then Ben looking to spread it a little bit wider, comes into Rob. Rob takes that in. Then Ben spots a gap, puts a chip over the top, which I am chasing back. The 15 regathers it, but I tackle him out the pitch. So now Walsall with the line out, comes into Bash, out to George. George crashing that in, it's literally a metre short. Comes out to Ben. Ben spreads it into Hansen. Hansen, great hands. Gets on the outside, then gives it to Dan. Dan gets caught up, some good defence there from Tamworth, but it goes on the blind side to Nunny, who stretches out and gets a try. And Mitchie from the corner with a lovely conversion there. So a good response there from Walsall to get a try quite early on in the second half. But after going down for those like 20 minutes, we really needed to play catch up. Line out now, which gets back into Walsall's possession, comes out to Neil. Neil crashing that in. Then Ben looking to spread it wide, gets it out the back from Nunny, gives it out to Hansen. Hansen then into Dan. Dan, can he get the space? Just gets caught in that channel. But then it comes back into Isaac. Isaac crashing that up, trying to get another few metres. Dan Farr with some great hands, again taking that in. Rob on the blind side, and then George again. Literally a couple of metres out now, just short. Then it comes out to Ben. Ben with a wide pass, and unfortunately Hansen does just drop that. So it's called back to a penalty, which Neil takes in on his own, and Tamworth with some good defence, they do hold him up, and they are forced then to exit. So now Walsall on the attack, Cooper taking that in, and literally a metre short again. Comes out to Bash. Basher gets over the line and gets the ball down for another try. And then unfortunately Mitch does miss that conversion. So again, Walsall with a great response, scoring another try. Now scrum for Walsall. Mitch gets out of the back into Ben. Ben then gives it out the back to Hansen. Hansen then steps inside, takes through a few players, does just get caught in contact. Then it comes back out to Ben. Ben finds a little bit of a space, puts a chip through, which I am chasing back. And then the 10 just regather that. I'm over the ball. George then firing over the ball as well. and it's all a bit of a mess in this ruck at the minute. But then the ball comes loose, Neil picks it up, and the hitman Holden goes over the line. It's the return of the nugget. Mitchie from the corner with another great conversion. So now Tamworth again with the kickoff, and the ball does then just go straight out. So back for a Walsall scrum, comes out to Mitch into Ben. Ben puts a really wide pass. He thinks I'm a bit flatter, but that ball then just go out. But from the line out, it comes back into our possession. Neil with a pick and go there. Then comes out to Weaver. Weaver crashing that in, skipping through a few tackles, out into George. George then tries for the offload, but unfortunately it doesn't come off. So now Tamworth with the line out, comes out into their 10 into the 6. 6 takes that in, big shot from Rob. The ball is then a bit loose, and the 10 is forced to kick and exit, which then that does go deep in field, which I regather. Step round one, step round another, but then just take that into contact. And then the ball is spread back into Coops. Cooper then taking that in. Some good defence from Tamworth, but Ben spots a little gap, kicks it over. He had hit one of their players as well and does go out. So Walsall with the line out. Great take from Isaac into Mitch. Mitch into Ben. Ben spreading that really wide then into Nunny. Nunny then into Rob. Rob probably should have given that a little bit earlier, but then he comes into me, which I'll just take that in. Ben then spreading it nice and wide into Lucas. Lucas takes that in, and then again Ben giving that into Dan. It does go backwards, goes a bit loose. Ben regathers it into Hansen. Hansen then steps and tries to put a little chip over the top, which the bounce then does fall good for the 15, who then is forced to exit again. Walsall with the line out there, but he's just overthrown into their 9. 9 puts a kick really deep into Dan. Dan then spreads that into Hansen. Hansen then looking to open up the play. He does manage to then get on the outside, gets an offload to me. I'm then forced to put a little chip over the top. I then try and chase that back. And then the 10 then opens it back up, gets around, and Hansen is there to make that tackle, which then Tamworth are now in possession again, but we're in their half, applying the pressure defensively. George with a great shot there. Again, some big shots from Lucas and Mitch. And then Tamworth then looking to spread it a little bit wider. Neil with a great tackle. They do get the offload, which they then spread wide on that blind side. Isaac with a great tackle there as well. And it seemed that we'd really stepped up again now. We were defending a lot better, connecting better, and when we did have possession, we were, much more dangerous. So Tamworth now with the scrum. 9 puts that out into the 10. 10 with a dummy switch, then tries to find a gap, but Ben and Rob do make that tackle, and then it comes out on the blind side to the 10, puts a little chip over the top, which again there's no one in the backfield, which Danny tries to chase it back. He does get there first, but their winger picks the ball up, turns it over, and goes down for a try. And they also then do get a conversion. So kicking off now here with a great take there from Lucas, who spins out the tackle, gets on that blind side and takes the ball in. However, they did turn it over, and they're Tamworth back in possession. Then they look to play it in their own 22. The 8 gets on the outside of Rob. Rob makes the tackle. Ben makes the intercept, gets 3 of the player and goes under the posts for a try, which he quickly gets up and takes the drop goal conversion. So we were playing catch up, and we knew we needed to get a couple of more tries to get back into this game, because that 20-minute stint we just conceded way too many. Here Tamworth with a driving maul, which we do manage to defend very well, and they do go over, but the ball is held up. So Ben with the restart, goal line kick. He kicks that really deep into the 15, who does just fumble that a little bit, goes into their 11. 11 then tries to step on the outside. Hansen comes in, makes that tackle, and a big shot from Rob. Then they look to go on the blind side. I make the low tackle, Rob with a big shot high. Then Tamworth entering into our 22 with some good hands. 10 on the inside into their winger, who just about gets free, gets the offload, but some good cover tackles there. And then they look to spread it wide again. Lucas getting across to make that tackle, and then they do get a line out, which they set up for a driving maul. Walsall then trying to defend, and Tamworth just keep on pushing, keep driving, and they do get down for another try. 9 here with a box kick, goes really high up, which Dan there with a great take. Does go backwards, but then gets into Ben. Ben spreads that into Rob. Rob then steps on the outside. He's got a 3-on-2 there, but he doesn't give it. But Ben quickly tries to get on the wide to me. Then I get that. I just step inside. The space had gone then. Comes out wide to Ben. Ben really wide into George. George gets on the outside. There's a 3-on-1. but he does get tackled, then offloads it into Mitch, and then Rob just takes that in. Now Walsall with the line out, but unfortunately it wasn't straight, so it goes back for a scrum. Tamworth with the scrum, and then 9 then spreads that out into the 6. 6 then tries to take it in, great tackle from Kyle, and they are then forced to box kick, and that goes out. So Walsall again with another line out, great take there from George, and Walsall setting up for that maul, and they're pushing and pushing, and we are edging closer and closer to the line. Kyle in the middle of that, George with the ball, and Walsall do get a penalty, which we then go for another line out. Good take from George again. The forward just setting up for that driving maul, which they do manage to drive on. And if you see here, George has got the ball at the back, and George does peel off and gets the ball down for a try, but the ref doesn't see it, and he doesn't give a try for that, and that was the game done. So the game ended there, 48-31 to Tamworth. Very unfortunate loss away from home, but those 20 minutes where we just conceded like 4 or 5 tries really let us down, and we were just playing catch up the whole game. So well done to Tamworth on the win. We go again next week, and we are playing at home against Mellish. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment your favourite part of this video. So from me and another matchday vlog, I'll see you in the next video.